real persons in the field, grassroots level to work for this program. Thank you very much to one and all.
Thank you, sir. I think we can start the session by Shweta, madam, I feel.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Once again, welcome all to all the principals and all the participants and training associates from the ZEDs. We are having one more feather in the cap of Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, training teachers as a forerunner in every field. Whenever anything is being introduced by the Government of India in education, Kendriya Vidyalaya Sanghan is a forerunner, giving an example to others how things to be carried forward. And I feel extremely happy to welcome Dr. Shweta Nayak to this first session. And when Joint Commissioner sir asked us to design a program, and I approached Dr. Shweta Shripad Nayak only, who is a scientific officer at Homi Bhabha Center of Science Education, Mumbai. She's always helpful to her, and I feel extremely happy to introduce my best friend and my guide, Dr. Shweta Nayak. Dr. Shweta Nayak had her MSc degree from University of Pune, India, and her PhD from University of Michigan, USA. And in 2018, she was a postdoctoral fellow in University of Northern California, USA. 2018, and she is a treasurer and founder member of Mathematics Teacher Association, India, in which I am also a member. From 2003, she is a scientific staff at HBCSE TAFR, Mumbai. And she is a nominated member of the Women's Cell of Negru Science Center, and she is a member of Women's Cell Committee of HBCSE, contributed by the Center Director. And she is having a lot of awards to her credit. I will try to spell out some of them. In 2018, she got Teaching Word Travel Fund from 2017 HBCSE Travel Fund Award, 2017 TAFR Knowledge Excellence Grant, 2015 Rackham Graduate Student Research Grant, 2015 Kusum Mathuradas Fellowship from Hemendra Kothari Foundation, 2014 David Lee and Anna Angus International Award, 2012 Rakshan School of Education University of Michigan Travel Grant, 2011 to 2016 Doctoral Scholarship from School of Education and Raklam Graduate School covering tuitions and basic health benefits. In 2008, Sri Ratan Tata Trust Fellowship. And in journal, she has had a lot of publications along with other eminent persons. And she is having in proceeding, she has selected some mathematical teacher knowledge and beliefs in problem solving. 7th Conference of Compatible Education Society of India, Conference of the International Group of Psychology of Mathematics Education, and in conference proceeding annual meeting of American Education Research Association, to mention few. And she is having a lot of research and chapter book she has written, and she has written in that first source book of Asian Research in Mathematics Education along with Mr. R.S. Subramaniam of Homi Bhabha. She has also written Reading from Mathematics Education Material for Teacher Education, Teaching of Primary Mathematics Teachers Module for teleconference, and Guidances for Mathematics Laboratory in Schools, Guidances for Mathematics Laboratory in Schools, and Teaching of Primary Mathematics. And her popular articles are Real Life Context in School Mathematics, Divisibility Test in Mathematics, Geometric Numbers, then Fractal Geometry, Divisibility Test in Mathematics, Pythagorean Triplet, Mathematical Patterns, Number Sense. And she is also having a contribution to the digital resources from 2016 to 2017 in collaboration with Mathematics Education Team from Connected Learning Initiative, CLICS, a initiative of TIS Mumbai. A learning unit and teacher handbook of proportional reasoning has been developed. It is for grade 9 students and teachers from 4 states, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Mizoram, and Rajasthan. And the unit consists of 4 units comprising of digital and hand-on activities. In 2014 to 2016, with the Center of Equity and Quality in Education and Rashtriya Mathematics Shiksha Abhiyan, she has developed digital resources for teachers across Maharashtra. In 2007 to 2011, she has been a part of Teacher Professional Development Resource on Learning to Notice at Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education. with his colleague Dr. Subramaniam. And research experience, she is having a vast research experience starting from 2011 to 2008 to 2010 and 2001 to 2003. She has had her research in curriculum development for elementary grades, bridging arithmetic and algebra, fractions and ratio project, developing an integrated assessment system in elementary mathematics, evaluation of teacher questioning and development, investigating student learning practices in laboratories. And she's having a lot of teaching experience to her credit. And she has been teaching mathematics course for first year BSc students for undergraduates in 2017. And in 2016, she was at Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. And in 2012, she was teaching elementary and school mathematics to pre-service mathematics teachers in Megam. Okay. Now, in-service courses, she has had a lot of contribution. Even in our ZED Mumbai, we are associating with her from 2009. She has been collaborated with the ZED Mumbai region for designing and conducting various teacher professional development. Whenever we are having any new idea, for example, error analysis or anything about project-based learning and so on, first name come to our mind is Dr. Shweta Nayak only. And she's having a professional services also to her credit. And we are fortunate enough to have, you can call that actually she is the architect of this particular program. She only designed all the 6 themes, which to be arranged in order. And she only designed it and she told me, sir, these are the particular person who can take it. So thank you very much, Dr. Shweta Madam. Over to you. Please continue. And on behalf of all the participants, once again, welcome you, Dr. Shweta.
Thank you so much, Srinivasanji. It is very kind of you to read the entire CV of mine. So sorry about that for others because it took some time. The association with KV, thanks for saying that. It has been a great learning experience for me. So I totally agree that we are best friends. In terms of guide, I think we are like co-helping each other. So you are also my guide. And definitely Murli sir too. Let me begin first by thanking Murli sir for a wonderful and apt speech. And some of the points you said, I'm going to refer to those during the presentation. And thanks to Punarav sir for graciously introducing me. Thank you so much. I am hoping that I've met some of you or I will meet some of you in future. So I always say this, take this as a beginning of our interaction and not as the end of our, like whatever is starting today is like a beginning of what we will do together. About this workshop, yes, we have some sessions like in a order. So there will be specific focus on operations, there will be specific focus on hands-on activities, geometry and special reasoning. What I'm doing today is more like a trying to put this in a theoretical aspect. I do have examples, but it's more like theorizing the whole idea of early numeracy. And what Murli sir said, it's very, very important to understand the role of early numeracy in the entire math learning. As he said, that it is, he used the word foundation. I really like that. And yes, it is a foundation. And it is also important because it is not easy for us to teach to young children. It is not at all easy for adults. And the reason is that it's very difficult for us also to make sense of what they are saying in their own world. And the reason for that again is that we try to look for things that we know about mathematics and we have forgotten what we were like in the age of 1, in the age of 2, 3, 4 or up to 7. And that particularly makes it a very, very complicated topic for us to teach young kids. And on that note, I think I would, this is also what Murli sir said, that they will have innumerable strategies that we wouldn't know. And I completely agree to that. And the reason is it's not that we are not listening to them or we are not hearing to them, but it's also, the reason is for us, it is difficult schema to make sense of what students are saying. Srinivasanji, can I start the presentation by that present now button?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. You can.
Thank you, Rao sir. So Just a minute. Can you see the first slide of my presentation?
Yes, madam, your presentation is starting just now. It has started, madam. Please continue.
Yeah, so now I'm not able to see chat or any videos. So
I will help you, madam. I will help you.
thank you so much. Yeah. So I'll begin. As I said, it's about theoretical considerations in early numeracy. So this is sort of the outline of the session. We are going to see how numbers are used in daily life. What does counting in number sense mean? What are different counting principles? Then what is an abstract number sense? Theory of cognitive development, importance of early numeracy, assignments for the teachers today, and the presentation norms. One thing I would like to say that in India, the early numeracy or the early textbooks, not only in India, most of the countries, it is shaped by two of the philosophers, that is Jean Piaget and Vygotsky. And most research that has been happened over the time is happened in this lens. We do have early education from Gandhiji, which is Nai Talim, which starts in little later stage because he gives lots of importance to the vocational aspect of learning, and it's not specific to subject; it's more integrated. But it is in the early numeracy. There is no descriptions from Nai Talim also. So this is mainly about how children learn early number sense and what as a teachers we need to know in terms of how they are learning. So this is about brain, what's happening in their brain and sensory motor actions in their hands to understand how they actually learn. And then tomorrow, like Jodogyan will share experiences where they actually have a lot of teaching aids and how to use. Then we also have addition subtraction focused, and so there we'll talk about different strategies that students use and what teachers needs to know. So yes, so this is from this perspective and not from the perspective of Nai Talim, because Nai Talim doesn't apply at this early stage. So let's begin. So here are some statements and they're all using numbers. My phone number is this. Siona took 5 pens from a shop to gift her cousins. Ankita takes bus number 5 from CST station to reach her office. Riaz made 15 liters of sharbat for the migrants walking on the road during the lockdown. The locking period for a policy is 15 years. Shiraz came third in his class, while his height is 135 centimeters. Ashwin and Rina collected rupees 7,500 for sanitization workers here, and it's already 5:30 p.m. So you would agree that each of these statement is using some numbers. What about these numbers? Are these all numbers same? Does anyone want to say anything about any of this statement? You can choose a statement and say something about it. That how they are using numbers.
In everyday life, we use this kind of numbers.
So these all numbers are used in everyday context. That is right. Anything else?
Sometimes, we see that in between the number there are some symbol like hyphen or there, the two slash are there. So it is also different thing here.
Numbers,
Some
numbers, numbers followed by some kind of dimensions. I mean, like time, like years, seconds.
Madam, ordinal and cardinal both numbers are used.
Quantity.
Yeah. So let me just summarize last 3 responses. The first one said that sometimes that symbols are used in between numbers. Very right. In the example 1, there is this hyphen used. It's used because we want to highlight that 022 is the area code and the other is the number, and it's used. Then sir said that it's generally used with some measure space. So you used years or PM or centimeters. And then ma'am said there are 2 kinds of numbers. Sorry, I don't know all of your names, so I'm going to refer to us. If you want me to use your name, please say your name in the beginning when you speak. And she said that there are ordinal and what is the other word you use, ma'am?
Cardinal.
Cardinal numbers, yeah. So there is an order of the number, and cardinal is more like magnitude of the number, that the number value of the number. Yeah. Thank you. Anything else?
Ma'am, I'm Sushmita Mahanti from Ahmedabad. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah, with every sentence that we speak in our daily life, number is associated with it.
Okay, that's a very powerful statement. Yes, with every statement, there is a number associated. We use some number so often. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. Does anybody have anything else?
Yeah, each number represents various things in each context. Somewhere it is for the thing, somewhere it is for time, somewhere it is for any number,
Yeah.
and somewhere it is for currency also.
Very nice. I think the first line that you said, sir, that each number represents something about that context. So even though these are all numbers, they are not same. That is what we know so far. So what are they? So numbers are sometimes used as a label. Okay, so for example, we say 8 number bus, or we say 510 number bus. So these numbers that we use in daily lives, they are just labels. The numbers are used, but there is no value of 8. For example, in this picture, the number 8 is used in Marathi. It doesn't matter. It is just like a symbol. You could replace them by any symbol or any letter. And therefore, it also doesn't make sense to do any operation with these numbers. So there is no point of saying that bus number 5 has come now, so now bus number 6 will come. We all know that doesn't make any sense. It even doesn't make sense that if there is bus number 5, there will be bus number 1 to 4 and 6 also. Sometimes they choose some special numbers that people will remember. So it is not about, so there is nothing about numbers here. There is no order. There is definitely no addition. You can't take 2 5-number buses, and that route is not equivalent to the bus number 10. Does this make any sense what I'm saying? That numbers are sometimes or maximum times are used as a label. Anyone have any comment, or shall I move ahead?
But somewhere it is not label, but somewhere I saw that sometimes at Delhi there are even number and odd number the vehicle will come in the day. So sometimes it may be it is label also this time, but sometimes it is even odd also there. There are also some
Yeah, I understand what you mean. That sometimes people might think that the vehicle numbers, like plate number, are just like a label, but they can be made use of because they are numbers. You can make use of it as parity with their parity. The vehicle numbers are generally assigned in order. Even in the letters, there is some order. So there is order there, but it's also used with parity nowadays to check whether the even number and the odd number. Thank you. Yeah. Is there any, sorry about this, because this is an online mode, so I might pause always for a second. So if you have to speak, just start speaking. Otherwise, I'll move ahead. Because when we are face to face, I can always see who wants to speak. And
telephone number is also, ma'am, excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me. Telephone number is also labeled.
Sir, I couldn't hear you. Can someone rephrase what sir said?
Telephone number is also labeled.
Yes, telephone number, mobile number, they are labeled. We don't add to numbers, we don't subtract to numbers, or we don't even order that your phone number is smaller number than my number. But you could have fun about that, but it doesn't make sense. Sir, you were saying something. Sorry, I interrupted you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, I am agreeing. But you have said, ma'am.
Yeah. And that is what you said. I rephrased it. So yes, telephone number is an example where number is used as a label.
Hall ticket numbers of exams.
Yeah.
Numbers also used. Good morning, ma'am. Where we are talking about the numbers as a label. I am Seema Chaudhary, HM from Chandigarh region. Numbers here can be used for some sitting capacity. They are labeled there. For example, if you are sitting in a cinema hall, Then numbers are used as a label in making the queues. It can be outside a temple, it can be outside a railway station. Then numbers as a label can be used for many places. Very simple, these are very simple situations which we can tell to the students. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Seema ma'am. Yes, and I really agree with your last part that we need to tell this to students that these numbers that we see as labels, they do not function the same way that what we are going to learn later. Not in this way, you will have to figure out a way, but these numbers are different. Here the numbers are used as labels. And we are not going to tell this in the beginning. We'll come back to this point. Yes, is someone speaking? Okay, I'll move on. So the second is the number as a measure. So it's a measure of something. One of the teachers said that there is a measure attached to it, like years or time, PM, AM, or kilogram. So these numbers, looks like that they are numbers like us, but they are again little different, because the grouping in these numbers depend on what measuring space or measuring set you have. So for example, if it is a time, the grouping is every 60 minutes, every 60 of something changes the unit. Whereas if it is length, then every 100, then 1000 changes its sort of a unit. When it is money, every 100 changes, every 100,000, it's more like the powers of 10 that we have, changes the unit. So grouping depends on the what kind of measuring space you have. And again, depending on this measure that you are, the specific operations are possible. So for example, if I ask you to solve a problem that take 5 centimeters and add 10 rupees to it, what does that make sense? It doesn't make any sense. So
Nothing.
yeah, so it doesn't make, so I have some, if I say I have a word problem that I have 5 centimeters of rope and I have 10 rupees of and I have a 10 rupee note. So how would you even ask the question, what is the total I have? So these numbers, so this is a very strong aspect of understanding something as a number, that numbers in mathematics world, they're free. They can be added, multiplied, subtracted, divided. They are free of context. They are on the number line, like a real line, what mathematicians would prefer to call. It's an imaginary line, but it's something of a real for them. And it's called real line because it has all the numbers on it, including irrationals. There is a sort of a cut there, but they're all there. But in reality, when there is a context, you don't take any numbers and randomly add them. So for example, you could multiply 7 centimeters and 6 centimeters. It would make some sense, because you know what will it yield to? It will yield to area. As an adult, we know that there are two lengths. Then if you multiply, what it will give is area of a rectangle. Two sides are those two things. But for example, if I say take 4:30 p.m. and take 2:30
Madam,
sir, can I finish
you are
this
listening
line?
me or not? Madam,
Yes, sir.
you are listening me or not?
I'm able to hear you, sir. Yeah.
Whatever you are dealing, that is the main theme of National Education Policy, that is Early Childhood Care and Education, ECCE. Your emphasis on that point, I think so.
Okay, sir.
Early childhood care and education. This is the main theme of new education policy, and this numeracy is this is foundational numeracy. Whatever you are dealing, that is multi-level, multi-facet, and you are describing that thing, now, madam.
Yeah. Sir, you have any question here or comment other than this?
Yes.
No, proceed, madam.
Thank you so much,
Just
sir.
I listen.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, sir. So, sir rightly said that it is we are focusing on early childhood numeracy, but it also goes into elementary grade. So we'll go in that direction. So the last line I was saying that if I asked you to say take 4:30 p.m. and then take 2:30 a.m. and multiply this, what would that mean? So can we multiply time? That is the question I'm asking.
Not at all.
So we can't multiply the time, and so even though these are the numbers, because these numbers are with the context of some measure, all the operations are not possible.
You can find the duration.
Yes,
We
sir.
can find the duration.
Yes, so you can do addition and subtraction. Addition also, like in the addition of time, what you will do is 230 mein you can add number of hours. You can't add 2 times, but you can find the difference between 2 times. So one operation is possible. So what I'm trying to say here, that these numbers do not behave the way we look at numbers. When we say number in mathematics, you can add them, you can subtract them, you can multiply, you can divide, you can make a part of it fraction, further things. There is a proportional relationship between the two, there is additive relation, but all the numbers that we see in our daily life does not have that property. They are different. And in the case of time, like you said, you can find difference. You can also add time in a way that 2:30 mein 2 ghante add kar lo, but you cannot add 2:30 and 4:30 p.m. So you can add a duration in a specific time, and you can find duration by subtracting times. Is there any other operation possible with time? I don't think so. Yeah. Okay, so any comment here, number as a measure? I have one activity for you as an assignment that you'll present in the evening in this context. But if any comments, questions? Yeah.
In some of the time durations, is it not possible to have multiplication, division and all, like when we go to long durations like years and all?
Yes, so that is, yeah, so it's not, there are the different units of time, you're right. I use the unit of time which is the time like AM and PM.
Yeah.
But the other units of time like months.
Yes.
So, but example, can you multiply 2 years together? Like take your, for example, I am 40 years old and my friend is 30.
Not always. But
can we multiply 2 years anytime?
Multiply 2 years.
What you do, for example, you say that there is this rate, 15% interest rate for this year.
Yeah.
Madam,
how
this
much
is
will be?
Kendriya Vidyalaya Tirumalagiri.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, we are doing one more operation while converting one unit to another unit. For example, hours to minutes, there is a possibility of multiplication, madam.
Yeah. What are you multiplying there? So when you say 1 hour, you convert it to minutes. You multiply
minutes.
1 into 60, no? So,
yeah.
So the unit of 1 is hour there. And the unit of 60 is minutes. What is the unit of 60? This is a very nice question. Very nice comment, sir. Thank you so much. So when we convert hour to minutes, for example, one of the thing is 2 hours.
The other one is not
minutes.
time.
What is the unit of 60 there? Because the answer that we get is minutes. Yeah, it's very interesting. I think if we get time, we'll talk about it again. But it's also about how hours are formed. They're defined as 60 minutes as 1 hour. So it's just another name for 60 minutes. You could only use minutes, but we have given name for minutes. Yeah, so there is a multiplication operation there. Think about it. What different kinds of units are used in multiplication, and what is the unit of the product also?
Ma'am, may I? Ma'am?
Yeah.
As you were asking, can we have some other operation for smaller kids? Because here we are talking about the foundational numeracy. Now conversions comes in the class grade 3. Now for smaller kids, for the kids of class 1 and 2, a simple questions depending on some other operations of multiplication is, if you are your study time, or if you are reading for 2 hours daily, so for a week, how many hours will you study? So that is very simple. Or your TV time or any time. So for 1 hour you are having this. So for how many hours, or for 5 days, how many hours will you play or study?
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you so much again for that. But the point, yeah, I want to come to that example. It's a very excellent example. But before that, let me tell you what point I'm making. The point I'm making is that the numbers that we use are not same. And we have to somewhere stop saying that mathematics, the numbers are everywhere. They are everywhere, but they are not in the same grain size or same nature. They are of different nature. So what you learn, you won't be able to apply that on all numbers. The example you gave, excellent example, that there one thing is number of hours and the other thing is number of days. So what you are calculating is number of days multiplied by number of hours, and the answer has an unit. This is a total number of hours in 5 days. That is the unit of the entire answer. So these numbers are always loaded with some as a context. Yes, sir.
मैम हम लोग ये सीखा है कि जब भी नंबर्स को आपने मल्टीप्लाई करना है तो यूनिट्स मस्ट बी सेम, जब भी ऐड करना है यूनिट्स मस्ट बी सेम, तो वो कंसेप्ट आता है इसमें।
बट यहाँ सर यहाँ पे जैसे हो रहा है कि आवर्स को मल्टीप्लाई किया जा रहा है डेज से। सो डेज जो यहाँ पे
यूनिट सेम नहीं है इसलिए मल्टीप्लाई नहीं होगा ये।
नहीं, ऐसे नहीं बोल रही हूँ मैं ऐसे बोल रही हूँ कि ये नॉर्मल नंबर मल्टीप्लिकेशन नहीं है। इसमें इंटरेस्टिंग चीज ये है कि एक जो है वो यूनिट, एक जो है वो गिन रहा है कि कितनी बार पढ़ाई किया। सो 2 घंटा आज किया, 2 घंटा आज किया। सो ये जो रिपीटेशन है नंबर ऑफ डेज वो एक है, और एक है घंटा, और दोनों का जो आंसर आ रहा है। सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैम के एग्जाम्पल में 10 आवर्स का एग्जाम्पल आएगा, 5 दिन में 10 आवर्स पढ़ा। सो 10 आवर्स ये हवा में नहीं है ये नंबर, ये 10 आवर्स फॉर 5 डेज, ऐसे उसका यूनिट, उसके आगे लिखने वाला आंसर ये है। इसलिए हम बच्चों को एलिमेंट्री में we always ask them to write something in front of the number. You remember after they solve problems, we ask them to write. It is not for language fashioning.
Excellent, madam.
Sir, let me finish this point. Just a minute.
Regarding this only, madam. The concept of multiplication is taken as a repeated addition, madam. Repeated addition.
Yeah.
Addition is done in the same units.
Yeah.
Whereas we are using multiplication here instead of repeated addition.
Yeah. You're right. And because I have also done some research in fractions and ratios, this meaning also changes afterwards. You cannot use repeated addition meaning when you work with fractions. See, math, that is what I'm trying to pass the message, that it's the meanings always depend on the context. So in the elementary school, when we ask students ki when you write answer, write in front of it what that answer means. We ask them to write 55 total pebbles or 55 number of hours in 5 days. Why do we do that? Because that 55 is not just 55 number in your number line, or not just 55 number from any number chart. That 55 means something in that context. So this is the power of number, that in every context. So number 5, take number 5 centimeters, 5 rupees, they are not same. So this is the point I'm trying to pass on, that numbers are different depending on their context. So I will move on. Yeah.
मैम यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा एक मैं डिफर करूंगा। हेलो।
Yes, sir, बोलिए।
Actually, numbers are 0 to 1, 2, 3, 6, 4, 7, 8, 9. Depending upon operations, number changes और number line पे, number के points पे depend करता है कौन सा number है। लेकिन जब वो उसके यूनिट चेंज कर देते हैं, नंबर के साथ कोई यूनिट लगा देते हैं, तो नेचुरली नंबर तो सेम ही रहेगा, लेकिन यूनिट होने से क्या है कि उसकी फिजिकल क्वांटिटी जो है वो मेजरमेंट होता है उसका।
जी, yeah. So if you are separating the number from the unit, then that number you can see in isolation as a math number.
0 to 1 to 9.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that it will not yield a fruitful operation. For example, what is the meaning of, like I used the example, now take 5 centimeters and take 7 rupees. Can you do something to these two? You can't do anything. But you take number 5 and 7, you can always add them. No, 5 plus 7 kar sakte hai, 5 multiplied by 7 kar sakte hai. But when I give you 5 centimeter and 7 rupees, the operation, what operation you can do? You can't do addition. You might be able to design some situation, complicated one, which will let you like add or multiply something. You can say that 1 centimeter is 7 rupees, this lace, so 5 centimeter ko kitna, is type ka. But just those plain quantities, 5 centimeter and 7 rupees, they are not yielding any operation. They are different in nature. That is what I'm saying. Yeah. And to earlier what sir was saying, repeated multiplication, I said that the meanings changes because if any of you have done fraction multiplication, take 1 by 2 multiplied by 3 by 7. How would you repeatedly add there? You won't. So the meaning totally is different of multiplication when the number set is changing. For whole numbers, the meaning is repeated addition. And even for integers, the meaning of multiplication is repeated addition. So mathematics, so when we are doing early numeracy, it has long implications to what students are going to do with mathematics later. So how we are going to handle student thinking in early numeracy is going to be deciding how they will learn advanced mathematics also. So therefore, we do not want to be rigid. We do not want to be saying that this is the sort of thing. We are saying that the numbers have different nature. Some of them has these units. Some of them are used as label. And some of them, like in the slide in front of you, they are just about place or order, like ma'am said, or ordinal numbers. So numbers are also used for order. Is someone speaking?
Madam, one thing I want to say.
Yes, sir.
Listen me. Okay. The mathematics and numeracy is something different. Mathematics and numeracy is something different. See, 5.00, that is called internal 0, minus 1.25, minus 1.25, you will get 3.75. That is mathematics.
You'll get 3.5.
And numeracy is 5.00. That 00 is known as internal 0. 5.00 minus 1.25 equal to 3.75. That is mathematics. If 5.00 or 1.25 plus 1.25, just leave the 5.00, only 1.25 plus 0.5, 0.05, that is 1.30 plus 0.70, that is 2 plus 3, that is 5. That is the numeracy. Here you are apply, that is the application of the numbers. So that is different from mathematics. You were discussing, you were telling about you just bifurcate that numeracy and mathematics. Mathematics is a different thing, that is pure, and the numeracy is the applied thing. You can apply in the different way.
Okay. I haven't fully understood what you're saying, sir, but for time being, because there is a shortage of time, you are saying that numeracy is applied mathematics and mathematics is something different. Is that what you're saying?
Pure. That is pure.
And your example did not distinguish that. Both examples seem like mathematics example to me. So I did not understand what's the application part. But I will move ahead. I am not trying to make any point about applied mathematics here. What I am trying to say that the numbers, this is a very common thing that teachers say, that mathematics is everywhere, numbers are everywhere. I also say that. And I am trying to delineate in those experiences for, not for you as an adult, but for as young children, these different quantities could be very puzzling. They are not all same number. And I am just making you sensitive towards that what is the difference between these numbers. Just reminding, it's not that you don't know this, but just putting things in place, that what are the different delineation in possible delineation in nature of numbers. I don't know whether that makes sense, but sir, we'll come back to, if we have time, shall we come back to your distinction at the end, numeracy and mathematics?
Yeah, just I want to give one more example here. Say by the Pythagoras theorem, a square plus b square equal to c square. Okay. Suppose a is 3, b is 4, and now 3 square. It means you are 3 square means 9 boxes, 4 square means 16 boxes, and that is equal to 5 square.
Yeah.
That is 25 boxes. That is hypotenuse. So 3 and 4, if the angle is a right angle, suppose there are in the room, there are a door, there are a window, all have 90 degree at the corner, and their measure, the application for door, application for windows, that is numeracy, and a square plus b square equal to c square, that is mathematics. I want to say this thing.
I think there is another word called quantitative literacy. I think what you mean is what you call.
Pandeji, so excuse me, madam. Pandeji, we will have in the afternoon session such kind of questions. Please allow madam to continue. We discuss that kind of things at the
Thank
end.
you.
Please.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir. Both of you, I couldn't see your video. Sorry about that. Sir, only thing is that when you discuss this, also discuss this term, which is called quantitative literacy, which means that what math you have learned, you are able to apply it in the context. So, for example, it's often said that Indian citizens, that Indian people, when they read newspaper, they lack quantitative literacy. So they know numbers very well. They can add very well. They can subtract. They may know statistics also. But when they read news, they are not able to understand what point it is trying to in a mathematical way. Numeracy, I think, is a different term, and I think discuss about quantitative literacy as well. Okay, I'll move on. When number has a place or a order, so in this case, it's not about cardinality at all. So why we will see more about why it is not cardinality, because when I say number 3 as a cardinal number, it also includes number 2 in it. It also includes number 1 in it. So 3 is made up of 3 objects. That is the cardinality. But when I say third, it is just some position after second. But third might not include. So I can walk around some places and I say I came third in my classroom. But I don't have to always walk in this taking the first and 2 number with me. I don't have to. I can say I got third position. So that is possible. And some binary operations are possible here, but not all operations would make sense. For example, sir got 3rd rank and I got 7th rank, and these ranks cannot be multiplied. There is no meaning in multiplication of those ranks. So on all the numbers, they don't behave in the same context. And the last one is the number as an amount. So for example, if I have 5 pencils, so generally they are attached to some context. In elementary grades, they are always attached to some context, but they are in the form of amount. And again, the possible operations will depend on the context that you have used. So 5 pencils are there, and I gave you 2 more pencils. Perfectly fine problem, no issues. I said 5 pencils multiply by 3 pencils, meaningless. But if I say 5 pencils, each is 3 rupees, you can multiply and find the total amount. So but within pencils you cannot multiply. You need other number is non-pencil, then only you can multiply. And it could be either number of boxes, it could be money, but pencils cannot be multiplied. So depending on the context, you can figure out what possible operations are there. And this is heavily elementary and primary as an amount. We always talk of numbers as some object, 5 pebbles, 6 rupees, then 5 sets of notebooks. Because what we are trying to do is we are trying to transition children from outside world to the formal math, which will happen in middle grades. Middle grades, the context is much less. It is more about numbers only. Is there any comment here, or I'll move on? Yeah, little crunch of time. Sorry. Okay. So going back to these sentences now, you can see the first one uses label. The second one is amount. The third number 5 bus is label. 15 liter of sharbat. It's again, what did we call it as? With measure. 15 years, it's again a measure of something. It's a measure of time. Third in class, it's an order. Height is again a measure of her length. 7,500 is the amount, and 530 It's actually measure, but it's little different than other measures also. It's measuring time, but time measurement has different units.
Excuse me.
Actually,
Madam, I have a
madam,
doubt.
yeah. Myself, Pankaj Kumar Jain, Principal KE Balaghat. I want
Yes,
to
sir.
add something here.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes the number is also position. Suppose you go in a railway, my number is seat birth is suppose 63. So there is no order is not there. But by 63, if we divided by 8, what is the reminder we will get? It is the position of my birth, whether it is lower birth, middle birth, upper birth, like that. Also.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this may be added here. I thought that.
Yes, sir. I think one madam already said that the cinema hall number, sometimes there is no order and there are these numbers. So there is a combination of, so that is an important point that sir brought up. And some numbers are there which are not either this or that. They are combination of these two. That is also possible. They are combination of label, and they are combination of order. That could be together. So we saw example of vehicle numbers. It seems like a label, but it could be also ordered.
Yeah.
So seat number, berth number, it looks like label, but it also tells you position, and 63 ke baad 62 hi hoga and 61 would be before that. So there sometimes some numbers carry more than one meanings together. So that is always possible.
Yeah, it is correct.
So that was my next sort of a point, that in our textbook, unfortunately we will not get time to do this exercise, but if please write it down in your notebook whenever you could. Our textbook has many representations for numbers, and maybe it's an interesting activity to go through each representation and see what meaning they're teaching, because the meaning that we want to teach to student is the amount meaning in the elementary. So we don't want to teach them, because if we teach the meaning of label and we teach addition, it's a wrong mathematics. So sometimes it's a good idea to go through your representations used in the class and see what kind of meanings they're saying. If you are going to conduct this activity with other teachers, if you are going to be resource person for this session, you can also give this exercise to the teachers, that go through textbook and check all the representation of numbers and see what meaning they are showing. Are they label? Are they ordinal? Are they amount? Or are they measure? So ask them to check that also. We won't be doing it here. So just moving to number sense. So researchers have a very high expectations of what number sense would mean, and different researchers. Is someone speaking?
Sir, please mute your mic.
Okay. I thought he had question. Sir, you had question? Or it was just by mistake unmute? Okay. So researchers have different expectations from number sense. Some people say that actual number sense will be developed when there is counting, there is understanding of whole and parts, and also understanding of proportional reasoning. Some people will say it's about language, then proportional reasoning, algebraic thinking. So different researchers have made very ambitious sort of sense of what number sense could be. And what I'm going to show you today is roughly based on Indian curriculum and what has been happening in India, what could be done as to achieve number sense. So emergent numeracy, that is what it is called, developing number sense. So, and this is sort of an order. So child starts recognizing two-ness, three-ness, or many-ness as a property of a group of objects. So for small numbers, there is an understanding of this is 2, this is 3, that much, or more than that, many-ness. Then there is recalling of the number sequence, and then there is imitating of this. So you repeatedly say these number names, which results in counting, and finally symbolizing using fingers, and then by actually numerals that we use in our class. So I'm going to now go through some various things, and I will summarize them at the end, what they were all. This is an episode with Jory. She's 2 months and 2 years and 5 months. Just read it. So Jory is always given 5 gems to eat. One day she's got 4 and she just said this is not 5. ये 5 नहीं है. Then she was given more and then she said yes, those are 5. Now she doesn't know counting. But if you look at the picture, when she was given the gummy bears or gems, she organized them as a square. Okay. So she looked at square and she said this is not 5. So there is some sort of a spatial understanding of number 5 she has. When she placed them as a square, she knows that this is not 5. And when she put the another 5, now she knows this is 5. So even though she doesn't know counting, there is a already the word, please note the word here, spatial, S-P-A-T-I-L, which is the understanding of objects within the space. And all the kids that come to our school, they all have very complex spatial understanding. And we do not have access. We don't know how they think from this point of view. So always keep that in mind that when child is seeing us, when we are holding some teaching aids or we are giving them, they're all thinking is very complicated and we have a very less access to that. So we need to become more sensitive towards what they bring in. So I'll just begin to some of the counting principles. Okay. This is, can you all see, this is Joseph counting. So Joseph's answer is that these are 9 marbles. So can someone tell me what is happening here?
Repeated counting.
Okay. So there is a repeated counting of first 2 pebbles. Anyone else?
Counting in an unorganized way, ma'am.
Yeah. So there is unorganized way. The repetition is happening because there is no organization in counting here. And if you see the title of this slide, it says one-to-one correspondence. It's one of the most essential and most of our schools spend time on it. But I wanted to provide theory behind it that one-to-one correspondence is one of the crucial aspect of learning to count. So there are multiple kinds of one-to-one correspondence. मतलब एक से एक का संबंध की बात कर रही हूँ. Here the example is the pebble and the number name. So number names are 1, 2, 3, 4. They are number names of a number. But when I associate one number name to one object, I have to remember that it can only go once, one-to-one correspondence. So this term we are not going to teach to students. Of course, we are not going to. But what we are going to make as one of the teaching objective is that they know how to achieve one-to-one correspondence in various sets. So they need to be practiced, number name and object, number name and objects, and there need not be repetition. Any comments here? Okay. This,
Excuse me, for the previous slide, madam. For this 2 is including 1 and 2. How does the child understands that this 2 is not, that particular object is not 2?
Very nice question.
It's a what kind of metacognition that child is going on in the minds of the child?
Yeah, beautiful question. And some of these activities will be done tomorrow and then next session, which is I think on Thursday. So what I will come to that point, that what is that error. But I just want to repeat sir's question so that everyone understood what he's saying. He's saying that some students might think that the 2 is for that pebble. Whereas 2 means that first and second both pebbles is 2. So 2 is that set. So what you're talking about is also one part of the counting, that is called cardinality. We'll come to that. So, but this is also necessary. So one-to-one, so first of all, so before, I will go back to what I was saying in the beginning. For us as adults, it's extremely difficult to see these counting principles one after the other because you already know counting. You look at these pebbles and you see that these are 7. You already see that. So for you, seeing that how you reach to that 7 is not easy. So how it is reached? So first you have to teach them one-to-one correspondence. If you want to avoid, if you are developing number sense, this is the first step. If we are developing the number sense that sir just said, that 2 means 2 pebbles, not the number 2 to that pebble. This is the first step I'm talking about, that one-to-one correspondence.
Excuse me, madam. Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Whenever counting is being learned by children, children should be told to count. They should not be counting a random collection. Instead, they have to count and take the pebble to the right side and classify counted and uncounted objects. Means they have to segregate the pebbles. As and when they count, they have to take out the pebble on the right side and keep it in 2s or 3s.
Yeah.
It is up to them to count in 3s or 2s, but then one-to-one correspondence, a child will be clear in its mind when they segregate the counted objects with the uncounted objects and classify them. Then only they can count properly.
So what sir just said is one of the solutions, and I'm sure most of you know many other solutions. Unfortunately,
I think one thing I want to tell, madam, we must say to our children that we have to must arrange the object, then we will start the counting. Otherwise, it will sometime like that. From upward, we 1, 2, 3, 4, and downward, the 1-to-1 correspondence is not coming here. So the main important thing that they know, if the arrangement is sequence, if they found any arrangement, proper arrangement, then the counting is more easy. As the sir told, I think counted and uncounted. This is also another aspect. But my thinking is that arrangement is also one aspect.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, sir, is that there will be different other ways also. So one is that you separate counted, uncounted, you arrange them. Some people would actually create number charts also, like 1, 2, 3, and they associate and count. So there will be different ways. So yes, you're right. Maybe we should have taken this as an assignment, like possible teaching actions. But right now what I'm doing is I'm telling you what are the milestones in counting. So one thing is this, that you have to achieve one-to-one correspondence. And because you all are experienced, you already know different ways of doing it. Let's move on next. So I'm telling you different ways that are needed to learn counting. I am not sure whether everyone read Hindi, so I will translate in English. So Sohan's Dadi asked him, shows him this picture of flowers and asked him how many are these? So Sohan says, I don't know. So Dadi says, can you count them? Then he refuses once more, and then Dadi herself counts and she says, see, this is 1, 2, and 3. So these are 3 flowers. So Sohan says 3. This cannot be 3. So Dadi says, why? Sohan says, because in my book, the 3 is like this. So what is happening in Sohan's head now? In this?
He is relating 3 with the object.
Yeah, and that is what I'm saying is this is okay, but he is still in the developmental stage. He hasn't developed that abstract understanding of 3, where 3 means 3 flowers also, and 3 means 3 ducks also, 3 pebbles also. So what I'm trying to tell you, the order in which kids are going ahead. So this is happening in their head. So as a teacher, when you know this, you will use a language ki here it is shown 3 flowers, but even 3 ducks also means 3, also represents number 3. But this is what students do. It's very common. When I was teaching, I have also seen this. They told me that the picture in the textbook is the number, not anything else. Okay. Here is another episode with student.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
In that case, in the earlier case, it says that the number 3 is not merely a number, it is a concept. So the child has to develop the concept of number.
Yeah. And what I think this example is telling us, that before developing that concept of 3, students or children might have different conceptions like this. And we need to address those, because if consider that Sohan never got corrected, then Sohan is, for quite some time, he's going to be messed up. And that is why I think what Murali sir said in the beginning, that early numeracy foundation matters in the advanced math. Because if some of these ideas that students have, alternative ideas, non-correct ideas, we don't know this. If they are going to go ahead, they are going to take form of some complicated mathematics, which is not we were trying to teach them. And that is why what students think is very important for us, what they think when we talk in the classroom. So let's take Tuba's episode, this is connected to a question one sir asked some time ago. So Seema पूछ रही है, how many sandwiches are here, Tuba? Tuba says 3, counting. Seema says, good, eat them. Tuba finishes first sandwich. Then Seema asks, how many are left now? And Tuba says 3 sandwiches. Seema asks, how? Tuba says, because I ate 1 sandwich, here are 2 and 3, so 3 are there. So what's happening here?
Confusion between cardinal numbers and ordinal numbers.
Yeah, say more.
2 and 3 have been identified with the object as order, but not as.
So, but she has some, see, what is the definition of cardinality? Do you remember? The definition of cardinality is when you count a set, what you counted as a last number is the cardinality of the set, if you are counted correctly with 1-to-1 correspondence and everything. So she's saying 3 are left. So she's using that cardinality idea. She's counting again 2 and 3, and 3 is the last, so 3 is. But what she should have counted is remaining again from 1, no? Starting from 1. So that is the mistake. So she is also using this label meaning of numbers here. It's mixed with cardinality. So she thinks that the sandwiches are labeled at 1, 2, and 3. So 1 label sandwich is over. So 2 and 3 are there. So 3 is the remaining. And sir asked some questions little bit some time back. The child may think that the number 2 means that that label is 2. Have you ever seen kids saying that number 3 is this? Can you see my hand? Yeah. They say this is number 3. Because they count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and they say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So where is number 3 in this? What we expect when we say number 3, this. But they will also say this. So there is a mix of label and cardinal understanding of number, and it's there among students. If you interview them, you will find it. Any comments?
Madam, excuse me. Sorry for disturbing again and again, madam.
Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
And actually, the class 1 mathematics, it is there, madam. The activity is there. When we introduce the concept of numbers to the students, so like if you say number 9, the object we count, madam, 1, 1, 2, 3, like that. Ninth object we keep on the table. It should be made clear to the child that this alone is the number which is kept last, is not the 9. It is a collection of all objects which are there on the table. That makes the number sense 9.
Yeah.
So this has to be taught.
Yeah. So this is, I think what you said has a very, let me just comment, sir, on what sir said. Very interesting fact here. So what is 9? What is 3? So it's the property of that set, that is collection of that set, or it's the title of the last number. And the whether if you have worked with very young kids and if you have taught them counting, you would know this. We have to say this to students. We ऐसे count करो, and जो आखिरी number आया है, that is the collection of the objects. So आपने count किया 9 तक आया, so 9 is the number of. So in some way we have given them that language, but we want them to understand that 9 is property of the set and not just the number. And I will, in some time, I'll explain you why these mistakes happen. There is some role of our cognition also, the way humans develop. I am going to talk about Piaget's theory, जिसके ऊपर the entire world's textbook are generated, even India's. So why these errors children do that? So that I'll also in a little bit I'll speak about that. But thank you very much, sir, for bringing that point, that something is a property of the set, whereas the label of that object. So we want to teach them one-to-one correspondence, but we don't want them to think कि इसको one बोला है तो it is not a one. One is not the label. So it's a little complicated. Again, as an adult, you might find it trivial, but think from a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, or 5-year-old's perspective. Yeah. Sir, there was someone else speaking. Sir, can you speak now?
मैडम मैं बात कहना चाहूंगा इसमें।
Yes, sir. Please बोलिए।
जैसे छोटे बच्चों की हम बात कर रहे हैं
जी।
तो छोटे बच्चे ज्यादातर जो हमारे पास क्लास 1 में आते हैं तो 5 साल या उससे बड़े बच्चे होते हैं।
जी जी।
तब तक वो घर में काफी कुछ देखते हैं, जैसे ये 2 रोटी खाना है या चप्पलें 2 हैं या एक गिलास पानी ले आओ, एक गिलास पानी दे दो। तो घर में भी काफी कुछ नंबर्स वो सीखते हैं।
जी जी।
और ये जो आपने लास्ट में ट्यूबा एपिसोड जो बताया है
जी,
मुझे लगता है कि जो ट्यूबा है उसका जो विजन है वो काफी ठीक है। एक्चुअली उसके हिसाब से 3 सैंडविच ही है। यदि आप उसको कल पूछेंगे तो शायद वो 3 नहीं कहेगा, लेकिन अभी तो 3 ही है। तो ये एक किसी भी सिचुएशन को सोचने के लिए बच्चों का जो मैं रॉन्ग नहीं कहूँगा, ब्रॉड एस्पेक्ट कहूँगा।
जी जी जी। आई थिंक
उनके पास होता है।
जी, बहुत बढ़िया सर। आई होप सबको समझ में आया। सो सर वाज सेइंग दैट फॉर तुबा देयर आर स्टिल 3 सैंडविचेस। वन शी एट इन हर टमी, बट देयर आर स्टिल 3 सैंडविचेस। वहाँ पे 3 सैंडविचेस है फॉर हर। सो इन सम वे शी माइट बी आल्सो रिस्पोंडिंग टू दैट कि कितने सैंडविचेस है। बट मे बी इफ यू आस्क हर नेक्स्ट डे, दूसरे दिन पूछेंगे तो शायद वो कहेगी कि कल के ये 2 बचे हैं क्योंकि एक मैंने खा लिया। समथिंग लाइक दैट इज पॉसिबल। Very interesting, sir.
The question
But
has to
as
be reframed. Excuse me.
Just
The
let me
question has to be
complete.
reframed. How many sandwiches are left now on the plate?
Yeah, yeah. But I think the point that sir was making is that sometimes what children say can come from very different kind of thinking that they are doing, and I agree to that. And as a researcher, I'm very much interested in what all different things students think. So I do have an exercise for you today where you are going to think like a child or think from your experiences. So I'm very excited to see what all you come up आज शाम को presentation में। Sir आप sorry मुझे नाम नहीं पता है, but sir आप you were saying about the rephrasing the question. You want to say something more?
The question is very clear, madam. It is the concept of fraction. It was intended to teach concept of fraction. When one is eaten, one sandwich is eaten, how many are left out? There we should write how many sandwiches are left now in the plate. That should be
And
made
you
clear.
said fractions or subtraction?
Subtraction.
Okay. So these are other student thinking in counting. Both the things that are shown here, 1, 2, 3. Is someone speaking? Yeah. So
Sir
both
is saying
these.
rightly, madam. Sir
Yeah,
is saying rightly. That is a question of subtraction.
Yeah. It is a question of subtraction. Is there something more you want to say? नहीं ना, हाँ, ठीक है। Okay.
Actually, the cardinality and madam the amount that should be separated initially. I think so. Cardinality and amount that must be separated initially.
I'm making sense of what you're saying. Let's put that question on table and come back, because next slide is going to be about all the counting principles.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I'm not sure whether everyone understood your question, but I have understood it. So let's come back. I'm not rephrasing it at this moment. So both these pictures you see, they both are counting errors. And what could be the reason for these counting errors? Possible reason, like sir said, there will be multiple ways students think. But one possible reason, can someone think?
The collection must be sorted out.
नहीं, गलती क्यों किया होगा, कैसे बेटर करना नहीं पूछ रही हूँ, बच्चे ने क्या सोचा होगा, बच्चे क्या सोच रहे हैं गलती करते हैं।
The child may not be knowing the order.
Yeah. So one reason is the learning, the number sequence is forgotten.
The child has removed the repeating numbers, madam. Child has removed the repeated numbers.
From the first one, you are saying?
Yeah, from the second one.
Second one.
Skipped some numbers, and in the first one did not start from one.
Yeah. So in the second one, I think शायद number sequence याद नहीं है. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 ऐसे जा रहे हैं. First one, in some context, started counting from 3. Was supposed to count from 1, but otherwise counting is like labeling is correct. But because start once in it, so that is another thing. That what is your start and what is your end. So I'll just talk. We already talked about cardinality. So when counted every object in the set, used correct number sequence, the number name of the last object is the cardinality of that set. This is a crucial understanding in able to form number sense, in able to count. And sir just said that can we distinguish between cardinality and the amount? It's a very challenging question. I really liked it, but let's go a little bit ahead and then come back to that. So I am going in a developmental way. Now there is abstraction. So this is a very super understanding that we want our students to have. When they see 5, they know 5 is about fiveness of any set. So 5 is a number on the number line, 5 bags, 5 pillows, 5 anything is 5. 5 small trees is 5, 5 big trees is 5. So this is really advanced. Because if you look at these pillows, you know that these are 5 pillows. But again, the designs on those pillows are different. And you're still being able to overcome that and seeing that as 5 pillows is a very, very abstract that we have now. We can see these candles as 5 candles. They're not same in size. But we know that these are 5 candles because we have taken another attribute of it, the count attribute, not the size attribute, and made the abstraction. This is really advanced. It looks very simple for us. But for kids, it is not that simple to reach that when I say number 5, see any set of 5 in the real world and say that it's a 5. It's a very abstract idea. Then there is another counting principle, that is subitizing. There are 2 kinds of subitizing, perceptual and conceptual. You do this in your textbook. The textbook have various examples. So what does it mean? It means subitizing means you don't really have to count. For example, kids will see some numbers and without counting they'll say 3. So there is a perceptual subitizing. As soon as you see it, you know what that number is. You don't count. And then there is conceptual subitizing, which also involves perceptual, but it has a conceptual aspect to it. Jiska example I have put it here. So once you learn that this is 5, in the next number you are not going to count those 5. You are just saying 5 and 1. So you are going to say 6. So you perceptually use that number 5 and then set 6. Similarly, that 5 is now one object for you. You don't have to count every time 5, 7, 8, 9. So our textbook does have this kind of perceptual practice for counting. It's called subitizing, perceptual and conceptual. And then the last one is the complex understanding that somebody had said little bit some time back. It's the hierarchical inclusion. This is how numbers are made. Whole numbers again. This is how whole numbers are made. As soon as you go to rational numbers, fractions, everything is different. Okay, in the fractions, 1 by 2 and 1 by 3, if we have to look at it, they are very different. But in the whole numbers, there is hierarchical inclusion. So number 2 already has number 1, number 3 already has number 2, and number 4 has 1, 2, and 3, all of it. But it has set of 3 objects and 1 object, that is 4. You could also say set of 2 objects and 2 more objects, that is 4. So this diagram is not particularly good. It's taken from one textbook. But this is you got the point. The hierarchical inclusion is the upmost point that our students need to reach to develop numeracy. And it's not easy. And today, of course, I'm not talking about how we are going to do it. There are sessions tomorrow and day after and after where you will be doing a lot of activities. But because I'm theorizing it, I'm placing it what it all needs to be done. So these are 8 counting principles that one need to develop numeracy. Stable order, that is, you know the order. One-to-one correspondence. Cardinality. I did not speak of conservation and order relevance, but I guess you. So conservation is knowing the fact that the I'll have to talk about Piaget there. Anyway, so conservation is, for example, there are 5 objects. Okay, 5 pebbles are there. Then I put this 5 very long, like I put some distance in between. Now 5 are spreaded out. So young children will say that they are more than the smaller set of 5. So they haven't developed number sense because they have to understand conservation. That 5 objects, even if you spread them, they're going to remain 5. So all these things are needed to develop number sense. What is order irrelevance? That if you count from this direction or you count from that direction, there has to be 5. So the all abstraction and subitizing we saw. So once a child develops all of these, then they have developed the number sense in the early childhood. And then we have prepared our children for the math that is going to come ahead. There are a lot of interesting things that are happening here, and they again happen when they learn complicated numbers like fractions, and some of these things are needed there. So children who are weaker in these areas, they are going to face issues in learning higher concepts of mathematics, and that is why early numeracy is extremely complicated.
Madam, please make a correction in the previous slide. Principles, no, it is principles. Counting principles.
Oh, sorry, LE. Yeah. Thank you, sir. So everybody read that PLE, not PAL. Is there any?
PLE.
Yeah. Is there any?
PLE.
Yeah, sir, I said that. Is there any question about any of these?
मैम एक बार फिर इसको रिवाइज कर लेंगे मैडम.
G. So stable order is being able to understand the number order, just number name order. One-to-one correspondence is that you associate number name with the objective. That is, you're still developing counting. When they develop proper counting, they can now you teach them cardinality. That is, what is the property of this set? Is the last number you said, and it's not the label. We have to say all these things. The 9 is about the set. 9 is not about the last object, like sir was saying. Then conservation activities needs to be done. What are conservation activities? You show them set of 5 closely packed. You show them set of 5 spreaded, and they should be able to understand that both are 5, and for other number as well, not just 5. Then the order irrelevance, that whichever way you count, this way, that way, circular, they are going to be same. 5 is going to remain 5. The set of 5 is not going to change. Then the abstraction is being able to understand everything that has set of that number. So if I say number 9, it could be any set of 9. Then subitizing is to be able to perceptually see what that number is in perceptual and conceptual subitizing, where you could also see some grouping. So our textbook uses grouping of 10. So that is how students say, read the number 23. You will tomorrow see a number mala from Jodogan, which is based on these principles only. And the last is hierarchical inclusion, which is it is about how these numbers are constructed. So number 2 is made by adding 1 into 1. Number 3 is made by adding 1 into 2.
This means madam hierarchical में उसको बड़े छोटे का पता चल जाएगा.
Say that again.
Means larger and smaller का पता चल जाएगा. Hierarchical means
hierarchical में समझ में आना चाहिए. That is what. So 9 is 1 more than 8. It is
larger and greater. So larger and smaller का पता चल जाएगा.
पता चलेगा तब उनको number sense आया है. That is what we are saying. And you will see. So Jodogan, who will be doing work tomorrow, the way Jodogan started in India was their pioneer member, I think Usha Menon, and they all worked at Freudenthal Institute, which is which follows Piaget's philosophy. So they learned these things there, and they designed activities for Indian students based on these principles. So you will see. I'm not sure there whoever is presenting whether she knows, because this is started long back and she might be new employee, but you will be able to see all these things in there activities that they have and teaching aids. Do I have 2 minutes, Srinivasanji, or shall I skip this?
Yes, madam, you can continue, madam. You can continue.
Continue, madam.
Please continue.
So basically all these things that have come up, where do we learn about it? How young children learn is by two philosophers, Piaget and Vygotsky, who studied young kids up to basically 11 years. And then these are the stages on which all countries' curriculum is designed. And these stages are given by Jean Piaget. He's a Swiss philosopher, and you will read more about him. You must have already read. First stage is sensory motor stage, which is 0 to 2 years of our life, where every knowing is through moving and sensation. I wanted to talk about what object permanence is, but there is no possible. They understand action and reaction. What you deal with is basically pre-operational and concrete operational. So pre-operational is symbolic thinking and representation. Everything is egocentric. Child cannot understand from the perspective of third person. Child only understand from the perspective of her. Beginning of use of language. Concrete operational is what you deal up to grade 5. Logical thinking is possible. They understand conservation. They understand inductive reasoning. So this is another thing that Piaget is also saying, that conservation cannot be understood before 7 years. So if you take a 5-year girl and do the conservation experiment with her, I'll give you one example of conservation experiment. There is one glass which is very thin and tall, and then there is one glass which is very wide, जैसे पतेला जैसा है, and one is very thin glass. तो thin glass में पूरा भर के solution है, एक colored solution, शरबत है. If I pour that in a wide glass, it is going to look like a, उसका height कम होने वाला है, but volume तो same ही है. But any child which is younger than 7 would say कि वो tall glass में ज़्यादा solution है, इसमें कम solution. And people have tried different ways, but student cannot generalize it. Some children maybe, but in generally, child is not able to generalize that aspect, and that is what Piaget is saying. There are certain things that you can do in certain age. So conservation is not accessible to children which are younger than 7 years, and that is how our curriculum also is designed. So it comes into 7 to 11 years. And the formal operation is all of us. It's more complicated. I am not written it here, but we also we all fall under formal operational stage. How we learn is described in this stage. So this is sort of a theory. And there are two things that Piaget has talked about, but if I describe in detail, it is going to be overwhelming. But he talks about schemas. So for example, in the sensory motor stage, our schemas are all about grabbing, sucking, all those. Where in the pre-operational, the schemas are different. So schemas are something getting little bit abstract. So grouping is one schema that we can see. Group kiya hai. So he talks all of this in very detailed in each of this. To understand Piaget, we'll really need a different 5-day course to understand cognitive development by Piaget. But I'm giving you the brief idea. Yeah. And Piaget and Vygotsky. So Vygotsky talks about how environment affects your learning. Piaget talks about how your brain sort of is supporting, helping you in learning. And Vygotsky talk about what your surrounding does to you. And both of them says that the schemas that you use in early numeracy are very much similar schemas that you'll use later. And therefore, we have already said this, early numeracy is very, very important, especially the spatial part, which there is a session on it, on this towards the end of the workshop. Subitizing, abstraction, all these are going to be useful when they learn integers, when they learn fractions, when they learn proportional reasoning, and when they learn trigonometry. So things that look like for us that they are just here, they are not just here. They are going to impact their learning for all the complex math subject. Yeah. So I have some assignments. There are 2 individual assignments. I'll send it to Srinivasanji and then he can forward it to you. These are 2 individual. Then this is a group assignment. And then there is one more group assignment. Here you are expected to create some student thinking for any of the counting principle. And then third is this. So I don't know if you have any questions on assignments, how would you ask me? But any questions here on the...
Madam, please show the assignment once again. I will take screenshot and send them to the WhatsApp.
Can you repeat that? I couldn't hear.
Assignment 2, please show once again.
2, assignment 2. So there are two. So this is the first assignment for individual.
Okay.
Use the following numbers and different statement for context. Sorry. This is the first assignment. Sorry, there is a mistake. This is the first. There should be number 2 here. This is the second. Then this is for group. When they meet in group, they have to figure out the fallacy from what we discussed today and come up with an explanation. And then this is also for group. Choose any two, or maybe any 2 is also fine, counting principle, and create some examples of student thinking. Doesn't matter right or wrong. And then third is this. So all these 3 ideas are from Piaget: object permanence, conservation of liquid, and longer is bigger. This is an internet search activity. So people can search on internet and just brief about it. And if I have something to add. For presentation, I have come up with some norms based on my earlier experiences. So when you meet, decide a moderator, somebody who can talk to all the teachers. The moderator's role is to make sure that everyone will speak and participate. While presenting, also make sure that everyone's ideas are presented, and in general, be sensitive of other people's time and also their ideas. Yeah, so this work is supported by Department of Atomic Energy, all the research that we do. This is all places where I'm associated with. This is our website. It has some resources, but this is not a topic for discussion today. So, yeah, and stop.
Thank you, madam. I think we can have 1 or 2 questions from the
yes. And we couldn't resolve the amount and cardinality, but I need to think about that question, sir. Sorry.
Okay. Now before we go for answering some questions by madam, please all the participants stay back for important announcements.